Hello, my name is Robert Cover. I had my own kind of alien experience back in 2012 in a town called Blue Springs, Missouri. Um, it was probably it was cold. I don't remember when I first saw the objects. I believe it was in January. Um, I had gone in, or I had gone outside, and probably like around 9 p.m. and looked up in the northern sky, and I saw these balls of light that would turn different colors. They would strobe red, blue, green, yellow, pink, just about any color you could even think of. Would They would just completely strobe those colors. It was nuts. So of course I get on the phone and I call a friend of mine and I'm like, hey, I know you don't live around here. You're all the way up in Chicago right now. If you want to come down here at some point and check this out with me, I'm sure they'll still be here. But there's these balls of light that change different colors in the night sky, and I'm certain they're not human, or they're not human-like. They don't look like planes. They don't look anything like that I've seen before in the sky. So my friend, of course, is like, all right, you sound like a freaking whack job, but I will take you up on your offer. So he flies out, or actually takes a bus out, I believe, to where I'm at the time, in Blue Springs, where his parents also live. We lived in the same subdivision at the time, when we saw these lights. I waited out for him that night, till about we went out at 8:30, right when it was just getting dark, and we saw these lights. At first, it actually took a little bit. The lights weren't coming out that night. It was just taking a long time. So I'm over here like, man, my friend's gonna think I'm freaking nuts. He's gonna think I'm crazy. So I sat there with him and I was like, trust me, man, these lights are gonna show up. And of course, he was like, "All right, well, I'll entertain this or whatever. You want to take a walk, go do something, just hang around outside for a little bit. Why don't you show me the exact place where you saw these things?" So it's getting to about 8:45. It's starting to get real nice and dark, and some stars are starting appearing in the sky. So I take him down this road, and we walk down into the further part of the subdivision where we were living at the time. It was all the way in the back of the subdivision. They were still working on houses back there, and it goes off into this part of the woods called Burr Oaks. It's a nature preservation. Well, anyways, we start to see this light that just kind of appears in the sky, and it starts glowing these different colors. And I had a pair of binoculars at the time, so I took them out and I was like, hey, look at them through the binoculars. Tell me what you see or whatever. So he looks at it through the binoculars and he tells me it's like nothing he's ever seen before. It doesn't look like a star, and it also appears like it's moving from side to side, up and down. We're not sure why or how it's doing this. So, of course, he stares at it a little bit longer, and I'm like, yeah, you see what I'm talking about now. Not so much a whack job anymore. Well, anyways, he looks at me and goes, yeah, you're not crazy. I'm seeing this stuff too. So after that, I tell him, like, hey, well, how about we come out a couple other nights and we'll document this, see if we can't get it on camera. So we go out, so he goes home that night, and I go back to where I'm living at the time with my parents, and I of course go out onto the back porch, and I see the lights going up and down in the sky. Some of them are even going below tree line, and at this point in time there's like 4 or 5 of them out. There were a couple nights where me and him saw 9+ lights that were doing the same thing, going up and down, and one possibly even landed. It was pretty crazy. Now, I don't expect everybody that watches this to believe this video or believe what I'm even saying. I did make MUFON reports on it, and those reports actually got pretty big after the second night that we were out. I was walking around before Jordan ever got out with my binoculars, and I walked down into that part of the subdivision again, and I put my binoculars up in the sky to look at this light that was above this house. And there's a lady is standing outside or whatever, and she kind of looks at me and she says, hey, you're not trying to look in anybody's windows, right? So I'm sitting there, I'm like, oh God, this woman thinks I'm trying to sneak a peek at people through their windows with binoculars. Oh God, she thinks I'm a creep. So me just naturally, I'm going, hey, could you come over here and check this light out in the sky? And she's like, of course she looks at me, she's like, okay, whatever. And she walks down her driveway and she comes out and she looks at the light that's above her house at the time. She also starts to freak out and she's like, this thing's turning all sorts of different colors. It doesn't look like a star. And I'm like, yeah, here, you want to look at it through my binoculars? And she laughs and she looks at it through the binoculars and she's like, wow, this is pretty crazy. This doesn't look like a drone. It doesn't look like a plane. It doesn't look like a helicopter. And it's moving around. So she was pretty interested in it, and we got to talking about it, and she had never really seen anything like that before, so she was really interested in it, to say the least. After that, I met up with my friend Jordan that same night. We went out and we tried to take videos of these things, and it wasn't very good. We couldn't get very good video of it. So he had the idea of, let's call the local news station and let's see if we can't make a tip and see if somebody won't come look into it. So he calls, he leaves a message on their hotline or whatever for tips and asks if somebody will come out and check out what it is. So I kid you not, like maybe a week and a half later, I get a call from the local news station. I also had called them and left a tip about it and gave them my phone number to call me back on. So they call me back and they're like, we heard you saw some lights, some possible UFO stuff, some alien stuff. Of course, the news people are not buying it, but they're going to entertain it. So they send somebody out to come check it out. And I don't remember the guy's name. He was a really nice guy. He came out and he came with his camera woman. And she set up her camera and she pointed it towards the sky where she thought, or where I had told her that I had seen these lights. And nothing was happening. The news reporter was like, were you under the influence of anything when you saw these? Had you been drinking? Like, what had been going on? Well, I don't drink, and I was kind of nervous because I had these news people talking to me, so I'm sure this guy probably thought I was just crazy. He asked me at one point if I was stoned. Of course, I'm just like, no, I'm not. I promise you these lights are out here. So he wants me to take him to the original spot where we saw these lights at in the subdivision. By this time, Jordan has already gone home on a plane, or on a bus, sorry, back to Chicago. And I'm out there dealing with these news reporters, so I take them to the spot where I had originally seen the lights, and it's probably like 8:30 p.m., 9 maybe, and it's starting to get pretty dark outside. So the news reporter sets up her camera, points it at the spot where we said we saw these lights, and sure enough, about 10 minutes goes by and a light pops up in the sky, and it's the ones that's changing colors, going red, green, blue, yellow, all sorts of different stuff. It's pretty nuts. These lights were also moving. Her camera was on a tripod, so she was able to set the camera up and we could watch the light go up and then kind of turn around this way, turn different colors, come back down this way. It would move slowly across the screen like this, and then it would move slowly back up, and it was just pulsating different colors: red, blue, purple, green, all there. The camera woman looked kind of freaked out. She didn't know what was going on. The news reporter guy that had been talking to me was in awe too. He had just seen what I saw, and he couldn't explain it. They got all right video of it, but not great video. You could actually find that video on YouTube. You would just have to look up the Blue Springs Lights, 2012. I may have gotten some dates wrong, but they have it all recorded there. So it's on the YouTube channel and has all the information. They did, I believe, 2 news stories on my sighting. Weirdly enough, they were supposed to do a third, and they were told by apparently some kind of government agency. I was told it was it was the ATF or something, which is super weird because what would alcohol, tobacco, and firearms have any interest in a UFO sighting? But apparently they told the news station to shut the story down. They weren't allowed to talk about it anymore. But you can find the information about the videos that they were able to collect on YouTube under the Blue Springs Lights, Missouri. My name is Robert Cover. You can look me up and type in Blue Springs Lights, and I'm sure it'll pop up too. We of course did a couple different. I did a radio show with Jordan on a YouTube page called Topic UFO. It's ran by a really awesome guy named Rick Schooler. If you are really interested in UFOs and different planetary stuff, you should go check out that Topic UFO website on YouTube. Tons of videos, great videos. Rick Schooler is an awesome guy. Go check him out. But anyways, Jordan and I ended up going on his show and talking about our experience. And then also, I had Missouri MUFON come out another night to where I saw the original UFO. And this lady, Margie K., who is an amazing ufologist in the state of Missouri, she came out and she set up her cameras. She interviewed me and the people that I had shown the UFOs to. She got as much information as she could get off of it. And then she took all that information and she relayed it back to MUFON, and she ended up writing a book and putting the story in there. I believe the book is The Kansas City Lights. You should go check that book out if you want to read more about UFOs in the Kansas City area. Margie K. is a wonderful woman. She works for Missouri MUFON. You should go check it out. But anyways, we have this whole story come out, and we're really working on trying to figure out what's going on, where these lights are coming on from. And so Margie calls somebody at a big star telescope place on the other side of like on the other side of Kansas or something, and asks her if she could zoom in on it because she thought it was Arcturus, which is a star that she thought we were looking at that sometimes appears to change color, or she thought maybe would. But the lady looked in through the telescope and said that Arcturus was just white. It wasn't changing any colors. It was just white. So at that point, she couldn't explain it. So Margie couldn't explain it. They did their little investigation there. We had a night watch sighting for it, and that was that. She ended up writing a book about it and putting the lights in there. I've heard that the same lights that I've seen have been seen over Brazil. They've been seen over Nova Scotia. They have also been seen over Ecuador. And I believe another one was... I don't remember where the other one was, I don't remember where the other one was. But these lights have been seen in multiple different countries and in multiple different cities. Basically, they've been seen all over the world. So these lights, I'm not the only one who has seen these lights. They usually are kind of small. They appear to first look like stars, but they will flash different colors: red, blue, yellow, green, and then they will disappear and come back at random. So these lights will completely go away, and then they may come back in a different part of the sky. This was just something I had never seen before, and I thought that I would let that story out and kind of get everybody else's views on it. If you've seen anything like this, leave a like on this video, subscribe. If you haven't heard of this story before and you want to learn more about it, you can go on Google and search up Blue Springs lights or the Kansas City lights, and you will get a ton of different UFO stories, and my story in particularly that happened back in 2012. So I would very appreciate it if you left a like, subscribed, and came back and checked out future videos. Much love, YouTube. Peace.